This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday, February 25th. I'm here with Stephanie, Brandon, Eric,
Doing an Erica dance.
Feeling good?
It was an Erica dance. Oh,
I like it. Get it.
She's definitely.
I like feeling good on
She's
a
definitely
Tuesday.
feeling good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even midweek yet and we're feeling good?
It does feel like Wednesday, though. Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe I saw Stephanie rehearsing something over there and I thought it was What Up Wednesday?
Yeah.
Double W. All right, let's get to it, guys. A jury convicted Harvey Weinstein of rape, as you guys remember yesterday, but he's still causing headaches. He was supposed to go straight to Rikers Island from court, but guess what? That didn't happen. He made a little detour to the hospital. His lawyer said he had chest pains, heart palpitations, and high blood pressure, but I think we have someone who could clear this up for us. You guys ready for this? That's right. Bill Cosby is chiming in, saying through his spokesperson, in part, it's a very sad day in the American judicial system. Wow. So, 2 questions. Do you think Harvey's faking what's going on with his heart and stuff, having a little panic attack of sorts? And what's going on with Bill Cosby chiming in?
Okay, well, we just had a small piece of Bill Cosby's quote. He actually referred to rich men and famous men, where do they go for justice, which is I don't even know what to say. It's like, first we have Rod Blagojevich coming out of the clink after like 8 years saying the prisons need reform. Rodney, where were you when all of the clemency bills were put on your desk in order to do something about clemency or prison reform when you were the governor? So now that it affects you, we're all supposed to be all on top of this. Here's the thing. Here's a man who has played by a different set of rules forever, probably since his birth, because he comes from money as well. Now he wants those rules to be administered in a different way because of why? Because he's now the victim again. And does it help him to have Bill Cosby rush to his defense, or is this a bird of a feather flock together type situation? Because if anybody saw the morning show on Apple TV, this was exactly the conversation that was being had. 2 alleged sexual predators having a conversation about who was more sexual of the predators. That's the conversation we're having right now, and it is a sad day. I agree, Bill. It is a sad day in America.
I mean, it's hard to go after that.
I know.
Because she wrapped that up. But I think this verdict in Bill Cosby's, it puts the predators on notice, also the enablers, and those people who are helping those predators. Because if you look at it, remember, this same DA that's locking him up now was the same DA that didn't file charges back in 2015 when some allegations came out. It's the same DA that Harvey Weinstein was giving campaign donations to ever since they ran for that seat in 2009. So now this public pressure, Me Too movement, social media, everyone has the eyes on you now. Now you want to lock them up. People are being put on notice. Kevin Spacey, you might be next.
And they're not just going to cushy prison, man. Rikers.
That's where the rappers go.
It's a tough prison, man. It's tough. No wonder I think those heart palpitations are real.
I think it's real.
I would be having heart palpitations too.
I'd be scared too.
I think he's having a taste of his own mortality, isn't he? He's been untouchable for years.
Right, and I think in his mind, he thinks he's innocent. I don't want to keep going on with this, but in his own mind, I don't think he did anything. He thinks he didn't do anything wrong, and he never thought he was going to jail, let alone Rikers. And now it's set in, and he's like, my heart.
Oh, yeah, it's real.
He knows he did something wrong. When the heart starts doing things involuntarily, you know you did something wrong.
Ooh, all right, guys, that's a wrap for that conversation and for ABC's longest-running show, Modern Family. After 11 seasons and 250 episodes, the final episode airs in April. That's sad for some. The stars have been sharing heartwarming behind-the-scenes video from the final day of shooting, but one photo from the wrap party is grabbing all the headlines. Check this out. 22-year-old Ariel Winters showed up wearing a black see-through dress right there, and a lot of people said it was totally inappropriate for that wrap party. As you see there, it's a little bit darker in that picture.
Right. So here's the thing. There's two things. One, I do believe the dress is a bit blown out because of the camera flash.
Yeah, you can see that in their skin tone.
Right.
As well.
Because the contrast. So when you wear a dress like that, I know because I have a white version of that dress, and I'm 39, so I try not to take photos in that dress. But in person, it doesn't come across as nudie as it does in a photo. The other thing is, I'm also very aware that as a 22-year-old young lady, I was very rebellious, and I wanted to take command over my body and how I dress. After living in my father's house for 18 years, him telling me I can't wear skirts and I can't wear shorts, I wanted to wear what I wanted to wear. So I can understand how a young woman is exploring her limits and her boundaries, and also exploring a little bit with how she dresses, and I don't think that she needs to be judged for that.
I don't think so either. I mean, let's be honest, she's in her 20s. She doesn't look bad. You know, it's just a fashion choice that she's decided to make, and we should just literally leave it at that. There's nothing of any rude or unsightly or anything that's going to upset and be massive consent issues. Like, you know, she's just literally wearing a sheer dress, and that's exactly what Erica just said has clearly happened in that photograph. I've got dresses like that too, where in certain lights you can see how washed out her skin tone is, and that's because they've upped the exposure clearly massively to sell some pictures.
Well, listen, I agree with all you guys, and I'm sure you agree too. But Brandon, what if you had a daughter that was 22 and she was wearing something like this? I'm just taking it. Listen, I don't feel that way. I'm just posing.
Do I pay her rent, phone, or electricity?
Not. She's making up more than you.
Then
are.
I don't have anything
No
to
one's
say to
business.
her.
Oh, my Lanta, we agree on something.
Did we really?
We really do.
It was the dance in the beginning. I could feel your energy, girl.
Yes, we agree. Because you know what you've been telling her for 18 years?
What have I been telling her?
My roof, my rules.
That's
so
what it's
she's
about.
like, all right, at 18 and one day, I'm going to get my own roof so I can make my own rules. And that's what happens.
Can you do it in a Roosevelt voice, though?
That wasn't a
It's my roof. As you gonna live by my rules. You ain't gonna be walking around looking like some hoochie mama in my house. I don't know what you think this is, but we not out here trying to get people up in here looking at you like you my daughter. You better cover up and act like you have some sense. Nobody's trying to look at you. It's about what's in here. It's about what's in here.
You know, that portrayal of Roosevelt isn't good, because if you see a picture of him, he does not talk like that. He does not go with the voice that is.
He does not. Believe me, I've seen it.
We'll bring him
real
in.
life out.
We'll bring it. Steph was with us for Thanksgiving. She has seen it. He did it during the prayer.
Oh no, he did. Roosevelt likes to lay down the law, I must say.
During the prayer,
I've seen it firsthand multiple times.
We might have to break out the Roosevelt video for the end. All right, guys, don't talk. Nod your head. Those are Harrison Ford's tips for a happy marriage. I agree with you, Harrison. He's been with actress Calissa Flockhart for almost 18 years, and they're going to celebrate their 10-year wedding anniversary pretty soon, so congratulations. Don't talk and just nod. So that's his advice. What's your advice for your best, for a wonderful relationship? Do you have any solid advice?
I don't know if I've got any solid advice, but I've got to say, all right, my lad Eric, here he is. Let's pull him up. There he is.
He's
okay, I'll give him this, which definitely keeps in my good books. He's like my biggest cheerleader, I must say. He's really supportive in everything that I do, and he's like, go Steph. Like, we were laughing earlier, he's like the best Instagram photographer known to mankind, and he gets some angles. He knows what he's doing, yeah. So
kills it.
He's a very good cheerleader.
All right, so you got some tips. You got any tips?
Yeah, I got some tips. Zoom in, please. Don't have your mother say that you're official on Daily Blast Live, because then here goes the timer. Tick, tick, tick. You got a month left until you're single again.
Well, let's get a pic.
In Sister Girl's defense, she didn't say that. You did.
That's kind of fresh right there, Erica. That's the bachelor right there, baby. I'm back, baby. Let's do our little thing with. I'm back, baby. I'm back, Erica. Erica, give that advice on the market.
Oh, man. I think the best advice that I could give with my husband and I is really create the life that you want to live and really isolate yourself from outside influences, because I think that it's really important that you make the decisions about what makes you feel happy and safe, and you can't allow a lot of chirping from the outside to get in, because that chirping's probably coming from a lot of dissatisfied people.
That picture's so nice.
I do love that picture.
That's a good pick.
He does look like he's running for office in that picture.
What about you, Jeff?
Here's my advice. Treat your marriage like a poker game. but fold every hand and put your cards on the table. That's what you got to do. You got to talk about everything. You feel something's going on, fold. What's going on? We have to talk about this right now. Oh, you know where that was? That was that secret place in Denver. That little, Erica told me to go there. You know when the little speakeasy?
Oh,
They have to
yeah,
knock
Boys
on the
and
door
Girls Club.
William and Graham?
I don't know.
It's Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
Boys and Girls Club, it's good.
Anyways, I don't know. I got caught up with that picture.
That's cute.
So fold your hand and nod.
Fold your hand and nod. And yeah, I'm
There we
serious.
go.
Talk about everything.
Create your best life.
Yeah, you
And
create
be a
your best
cheerleader.
life.
Just support one another, you know. Like if the other person wants to go for something, they've got a dream, they've got a goal, you know, assist in whichever way you can. Be there for each other.
And speaking of long-term relationships, do we have that photo? Do we have what you were just telling me? Oh, there's Roosevelt right there.
There he is.
I love that he's becoming part of the show.
I love it. We need more footage of him though. We've got this one clip.
Does that face go with that voice? No. No.
Peels.
He's lovely, isn't he?
Oh, man.
He's a good-looking man.
So he is.
Good-looking man.
Leave my dad alone.
Yeah, we all know. I love Roosevelt.
All right. DBL is live. Coming up, Brandon sits down with Hollywood royalty Ben Affleck. We were talking about it all last week. It's finally here. Why his newest role hits so close to home. Then Tyra Banks is coaxing out your inner supermodel, but it'll cost you. Wait till you hear the price to get into this thing called Model Land.
The winner of a Sandals Resorts luxury included Caribbean vacation will be announced February 26th on Daily Blast Live. Make sure to watch.
We can't make working out.
Am I doing it from here or down there?
Down there.
Ooh, tell them what you're going to do, Steph.
Don't know. Watch and see.
Good tease. Good tease.
Great one.
Keeping you all on your toes, aren't I?
So, Brandon, that
Keep watching me. Ignore them. No, I'm joking. Watch them.
It's only Tuesday.
man, what's going on?
only
Why is it all
Tuesday.
goofy in here?
It's
in the air.
There's something happening in the air. We're not sure what it is.
What were you about to ask?
I was going to say, what's going on? Because we're about to air your Ben Affleck thing.
Yeah.
And we're proud of you. Even our exec producer went over to him and said, hey, good job.
I got a compliment.
That's all grown up.
I don't think y'all understand when he said the compliment. When he said the compliment, I grabbed the words out of the air and put them in a Ziploc bag. And I'm just gonna put them away and freeze them and just hold them in my
You did do a great job.
Man, it was, you know what it was? Our producer Taylor got me. We got prepared for it, and I went back and did all types of research on each character as well because I didn't know who I was going to be. Well, I knew I was going to be talking to Ben, but I didn't know who else I was going to be talking to, how much time. And one thing I have to tell you, when you do these junkets, that 4 minutes goes by so fast. But when you go in,
Well, tell people about that because they might not know.
so when you go in and you have this time when you sit down with the actors or cast members, you legit have 4 minutes and you're sitting there and their PR person goes, say your name, say your media outlet, and your 4 minutes starts. And then you get a question in and someone's talking and you maybe get one more question in and the next thing you know, she's rapping like this and you try to say something and she just walks right in front of the camera. I'm like, girl, you messing up this one shot,
But that makes you nervous on top of it. I mean, you had to be a little nervous having Ben Affleck right there.
No, not at all. Man, I've been around Michael Strahan, Eli Manning, Beckham Jr., but I was nervous not nervous, it was anxiety in the sense of, I want to get this right. I want to do this right.
And then you have 4 minutes and they're like, go.
4 minutes. So Stephanie told me when you start walking in, just start talking to them. Loosen them up a little bit. And I started talking about how the Giants beat his Patriots, how I went to UMass, and we got to talk about concussions
If you
and
could
stuff.
get it in.
You got it in, and the lady had to be like, go ahead, get started.
Did you see that? It's on camera.
See that, guys?
You clip that.
See that? We're going to close caption now.
No, you really did. Yeah, you did.
Quiet. 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to DBL. Do you have an inner supermodel that's just yearning to break free? Well, Tyra Banks is banking on you to make her new Model Land theme park a hit. You've got to check out the brand new pictures. You can say gold, glitz, and glamour galore. And this is just the lobby. So if you want to get past it, you've got to buy a ticket. So once you do, you'll get an interactive modeling experience. You'll get a photo shoot, tips from Tyra, but we still don't know whether or not she'll actually be there in person, and you'll get to take home your own personalized photo album. Now, tickets are as cheap as $59, but they go as high as $1,500, and the priciest ticket gets you a makeover, wardrobe changes, a goodie bag, a robe, and pretty much the full model experience. So Model Land officially opens on May the 1st. So would you lot drop that kind of spondoolie for a bit of modelling?
Spondoolie?
Spondoolie! You know, a bit of money, Jeff.
What's a
Splash the cash.
Bravo, Tyra.
I don't know if I like this.
Tyra. This is brilliant.
This is fabulous.
This is brilliant. Yes, that
Nobody's on my
Harvard
side.
business school,
It's
or was it
great.
Stanford that she went to, is paying off because this is a cash cow.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, let me tell you the other side of this, okay?
Go on. Tell us,
You're gonna
Jeff.
put a cat over me speaking? Listen,
Everyone in the booth's like, no, Jeff, this is the best thing ever.
I get it. It's a good idea, but listen, I just don't like that a lot of people might be tricked into thinking this is their actual ticket to Hollywood. I've been scammed from different things. We all have classes that really didn't amount to anything. You put in your money for your headshots, I get, and then you try to save as much as you can to put back into your business or yourself. But I think a lot of people are going to be fooled that, like, hey, you know what, this is my big opportunity, and I don't know. It just seems a little touristy for me.
It's a theme park, though. You know, she's not saying come here and you're going to get a job. I know, but I think that's for, like, if you're seriously investing in that as a career.
Right.
You know, so that's very different. And I think, you know, there are plenty of places you can go and get all these pictures and you promise the world and nothing comes of it.
Right.
Whereas this is a theme park. It says it in the name, you know. It's going for an experience, get some nice pictures, you know.
And you walk away with a guaranteed package as opposed to some, like, fly-by-night person who you're deciding to go with. I mean, there's a brand behind that.
You got to think there's makeup artists, there's stylists, there's the best photographers, there's lighting.
I might even be there.
Okay, no.
She's on my side. Thank you, Steph. Coming up on DBL, Oscar-winning actor Ben Affleck sits down with Brandon London to talk about how his role couldn't have come at a better time. You guys don't want to miss this.
Okay, things may seem a bit strange for the next minute, but bear with me till the end. Claims like these are pulling excerpts from the novel The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz. Quote, China's most important and dangerous new biological weapon. They call the stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs outside the city of Wuhan. So the book names Wuhan, the Chinese city where the current strain of coronavirus originated. What's weirder, though, is that this book was written in 1981. Did Dean Koontz predict this would happen nearly 40 years ago? Well, no. Look further, and there's evidence to prove this is just a strange coincidence. First off, this is a real excerpt. The Eyes of Darkness does say this about Wuhan, but the similarities end there. In the book, Wuhan 400 is man-made, 100% fatal, and has an incubation period of about 4 hours. By comparison, COVID-19, the current strain of coronavirus and the sickness it causes, isn't believed to be man-made. It has about a 2% fatality rate and takes between 2 to 14 days to incubate. And while the name Wuhan is the same as the city where this current virus started spreading, it wasn't always written that way. If you go back to the first version of the book from 1981, you'll find that it actually says Gorky 400 instead of Wuhan 400. Turns out the book originally said the deadly biological weapon came from Russia and was only changed to China after the fall of the Soviet Union when they were no longer communist. So, strange coincidence with the name? Yeah, but that's it. Koontz didn't predict this current virus that's spreading, and the book definitely doesn't reflect our current situation. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
In 2007, a young couple was mistakenly murdered by the Mexican drug cartel. WFAA's senior crime and justice reporter, Rebecca Lopez, updates us on DBL's True Crime Chronicles. Join the conversation on the next DBL.
All right, come on, guys, let's go. We got 15 seconds left. We're gonna go on 8. Gives us time for a rebound or a tip in. Brandon, 20's gonna pick you up full court, all right? Freeze, you're gonna come up, set a ball screen for Brandon. Brandon, you roll around to the right. Garcia, come up, set a back screen for Kenny. Kenny, come out to the wing for the 3. That way we got 3 options. Brandon attacking right, we'll look for freeze coming off the screen. If neither of those are there, go to Kenny for the 3 in the corner. You got this, okay? No, don't just nod. I want to hear your voice. Yes or no?
Yes, Coach. No crazy stunts, no Batman costume. This is a different Ben Affleck than we're used to seeing. In his new movie, The Way Back, he plays an alcoholic who finds redemption in coaching basketball. But what about Ben's own comeback? I sat down with the cast and crew to learn why this role was so important for Ben, and that's in today's Chatting with the Stars. As an athlete, I gotta say, this is a movie about life, not a movie about sports.
I heard you're coaching basketball.
Yeah, keeps me busy, keeps my mind off other things, you know.
I'm gonna start off with you, Ben.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting, you played a version of your real self.
Right.
30 years later, you picked this role because of Jack's struggles. How important was this role to you?
The role was really important to me. I had done a lot of bigger budget, action, effects-driven stuff, and there's not a lot of emotional satisfaction, and I wanted to get back to that. And this story was just full of those opportunities.
Keep pressing, trapping, taking charges, make our lack of size an advantage.
Coach's relationship with the players, what he gets out of them, his recovery from alcoholism. But probably the most important thing to me about it was that it was a story of inspiration, of hope.
Look, we're not going to make it all back in one possession. You got to just keep chipping away and chipping away at it.
If you work hard enough, and you go after it hard enough, you know, you can win. You can overcome some of this stuff. That's not that, you know, the trouble is not the end.
Gavin, you worked with Ben 4 years ago on The Accountant. He's been open about his struggles. How different was it working with him?
It was so different. In The Accountant, he was playing a character that was on the spectrum, who was, you know, an assassin who had this brilliant mathematical mind. Ben is none of those things. You know, this movie, we were dealing with a lot of issues in his own life.
I spent a lot of time hurting myself.
For the movie to succeed, you know, and Ben and I had these conversations, he had to be willing to not only confront his disease, but he had to be willing to sort of, like in an x-ray machine for an audience, he had to be able to open up his insides and let the audience in. So it was like life imitating art, and art was imitating life, and that took a lot of bravery.
You guys working with the Tom Brady of film.
I'll take that.
So what did you guys learn from him? Because you knew he was going to bring his A game on set.
Want to know why they're leaving you open? It's because they don't think you could hit the ocean from the beach.
It was a great opportunity to work with, you know, one of the veterans and, you know, in this game and one of the best to have done it. Him still being such a humble and great guy and how he showed up and showed out.
It was about the love of doing it, you know. I've been doing it a while, and you know, you go down these rabbit holes, you get distracted. There's tabloids, there's the internet. You can get caught up in, well, what do people think of me? Or what's my? And these guys just showed up and loved what they did. That's the feeling I want to have every day when I come to work, is how these guys are approaching this job. That's how it should be done.
I told Ben this isn't just a movie about sports, it's about life. So The Way Back hits movie theaters March 6th. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
All right, Brandon, I have to ask you, you had an in-depth conversation with Ben Affleck, sat down, talked about a new movie he has coming out, but it also seems like he's going through some life changes. Like, what did you pick up just from talking to him and being that intimate with him?
Well, I picked up as this is kind of like a redemption story, you know, not only for his personal story, but the character Jack Huntington as well. And I'm not trying to, you know, give any spoilers or anything, but I told him and I told the director, Gavin O'Connor, that this isn't your typical Air Bud or Like Mike type sports movie. This is a movie about life, because we all have a family member or a friend who has battled with some sort of addiction, and you see that throughout the movie.
Right. Well, I mean, people are saying that this might get some Oscar buzz just because it's almost, you know, life imitating art. Do you think that he really embraced this role because of what he's going through currently and just kind of a catharsis to get not only all of this out publicly through the media and through interviews like he did with you, but also on screen and kind of almost say goodbye to who he used to be?
Yeah, it's so relatable. You know, again, talking about the addiction aspect, but it's like he didn't even have to so much prepare when it came to the lifestyle part of the character. The basketball, yes, he had to learn how to shoot, he had to learn how to coach, but when it came to what that character was going through, you can see he identified with it. And you can see after, you know, how open he's been in the New York Times and Good Morning America about his struggle with alcoholism. You can see these things come out throughout the movie with his character. So I can see this being something where he gets some sort of Oscar buzz, because we're going to continuously talk about this when this movie comes out, and we're going to continue to talk about his journey and his struggle with alcoholism.
Right, and quickly, unfortunately we have to go. Do you think anybody watching this movie that might be struggling with an addiction of their own might look at this and this will be the thing that pushes them towards help?
Yeah, because they're going to realize it's a cycle.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring and summer travel is coming up, and if you have trouble sleeping on a plane, this music might help, and so will these tips. We have some helpful sleep advice in today's Rise and Thrive, sponsored by So Clean. First, book a night flight and wake up a few hours early that day so you are tired when you check into your flight. Put a pin in that one. Next, fly on Tuesday or Wednesday when there are fewer passengers and more room to stretch out and recline.
Okay.
All right. Also, pick a window seat so you could rest your head on the wall.
That's my must do, yeah.
And finally, bring a travel pillow sprinkled with some essential oils, that might help relax you. For more ways to rest easy, go to SoClean.com or call 1-800-731-1648. Some good tips.
I love every tip, but the one that says fly on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't have that many paid time off days left.
That is a great point. That's a great point. I am going to call questionable on the late flights.
Really?
I don't understand why anybody would do this.
I'm with
because you get to the airport and you fall asleep and then you're really cranky. You get to the hotel and then it's way too late and you can't fall asleep.
That's right. Those were good tips. You did a fantastic job with Ben Affleck, buddy. Way to go, man. Crushed it. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.